Behind the Academy Award-winning brilliance of Billy Wilder's The Apartment lay a cast whose off-screen stories would prove far more tragic than any cinematic drama. This beloved 1960 masterpiece, which brought audiences joy through its perfect blend of comedy and romance, has since become a bittersweet memorial to the talented performers who brought it to life. One by one, these gifted actors who made us laugh and cry have taken their final bow, leaving behind only their immortal performances and the haunting reminder that even in Hollywood's golden age, real life rarely offered the happy endings their characters found. Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon brought the character of C.C. Bud Baxter to life in The Apartment, with a performance that perfectly captured the loneliness and hope of an ordinary man caught in extraordinary circumstances. His portrayal of the insurance clerk who lends his apartment to company executives earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor and remains one of his most beloved roles. Lemmon's ability to blend comedy with genuine pathos made Baxter both funny and deeply human, showing us a character who starts as a pushover but finds his moral compass when it matters most. Born in Newton, Massachusetts in 1925, Lemmon discovered his passion for acting early in life and pursued it with determination through Harvard University, where he was president of the prestigious Hasty Pudding Club. After serving briefly in the Navy during World War II, he moved to New York City and worked his way up through radio, television, and Broadway before landing his breakthrough film role in It Should Happen to You in 1954. His natural talent for both comedy and drama quickly made him one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading men. Throughout his career, Lemmon starred in some of cinema's most memorable films, including Some Like It Hot, The Odd Couple, and Save the Tiger, for which he won the Academy Award for Best Actor. His collaborations with director Billy Wilder produced several classics, while his partnerships with Walter Matthau created some of the screen's most beloved comedy duos. Lemmon appeared in more than 60 films and earned 8 Academy Award nominations, proving his remarkable range and enduring appeal to audiences across generations. In his final years, Lemmon faced bladder cancer with the same quiet dignity he brought to his most dramatic roles. He kept his 2-year battle with the disease private, continuing to work when possible and spending precious time with his family. On June 27, 2001, at age 76, Lemmon passed away at USC Norris Comprehensive Cancer Center in Los Angeles, surrounded by his loved ones. His legacy lives on through performances that continue to make audiences laugh and cry, reminding us why he was truly one of America's greatest actors. Fred MacMurray. Fred MacMurray delivered one of his most chilling performances as J.D. Sheldrake, the manipulative executive who uses his power to exploit both his employees and the women in his life. This role showcased a completely different side of MacMurray, who was known primarily for playing likable, wholesome characters in family-friendly films and television shows. His portrayal of Sheldrake was so convincing and unsettling that it surprised audiences who had grown accustomed to seeing him as the good guy, proving his remarkable range as an actor and his willingness to take on morally complex characters. Born in Kankakee, Illinois, in 1908, MacMurray originally pursued music, playing saxophone in dance bands and vaudeville, before transitioning to acting. He made his way to Hollywood in the 1930s and quickly established himself as a leading man in romantic comedies and dramas. His early films with Claudette Colbert, including The Gilded Lily, made him a star and set the pattern for his career as a reliable, charming performer who could handle both light comedy and serious drama with equal skill. MacMurray's career reached new heights with his starring role in Billy Wilder's film noir classic Double Indemnity in 1944, where he played another morally compromised character opposite Barbara Stanwyck. Later, he became a beloved television father as Steve Douglas in My Three Sons, which ran for 12 years and introduced him to a whole new generation of fans. He also starred in several popular Disney films, including The Absent-Minded Professor and The Shaggy Dog, cementing his reputation as a family-friendly entertainer who could appeal to audiences of all ages. In his later years, McMurray battled leukemia for more than a decade, while continuing to work when his health permitted. The disease gradually weakened his immune system, making him vulnerable to other complications. On November 5, 1991, at age 83, he died of pneumonia at a Santa Monica hospital, with his wife June Haver and family members by his side. McMurray left behind a legacy spanning more than 100 films and a successful television series, remembered as both a versatile actor who could play heroes and villains with equal conviction. Ray Walston. Ray Walston brought his extensive theater experience to the role of Joe Dobish, one of the company managers who regularly uses Baxter's apartment for his extramarital affairs. Though his part in The Apartment was relatively small, Walston's performance added authenticity and depth to the corporate world that Billy Wilder was satirizing. His portrayal of Dobish as a smooth-talking executive who thinks nothing of exploiting his subordinate showed Walston's ability to create memorable characters even in supporting roles, drawing on his decades of stage work to make every scene count. Born in Laurel, Mississippi in 1914, Walston discovered his love for performing early and spent years honing his craft in regional theater before making his way to Broadway. He worked with respected theater companies in Houston and Cleveland before arriving in New York, where he made his Broadway debut in 1945. His breakthrough came in 1955 when he won a Tony Award for playing the devil in the musical Damn Yankees, a role he later reprised in the film version, establishing himself as a versatile performer who could handle both comedy and drama with equal skill. Walston became a household name in the 1960s as Uncle Martin, the stranded Martian in the television series My Favorite Martian, which ran for 3 years and made him beloved by audiences of all ages. Later in his career, he earned critical acclaim and 2 Emmy Awards for his role as Judge Henry Bone in the quirky drama series Picket Fences. He also appeared in memorable films like The Sting, Popeye, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where younger audiences knew him as the strict teacher Mr. Hand, proving his ability to reinvent himself for new generations. In 1994, Walston was diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease that gradually limited his ability to work and weakened his overall health. The condition caused his immune system to attack his own body, leading to fatigue and other complications that made performing increasingly difficult. On January 1, 2001, at age 86, Walston died at his home in Beverly Hills, peacefully passing away on New Year's Day. His death marked the end of a remarkable career that spanned 6 decades and showcased his talent across theater, film, and television, leaving behind a legacy of memorable performances that continue to entertain audiences today. Jack Kruschen. Jack Kruschen delivered an Oscar-nominated performance as Dr. Dreyfus, the wise and compassionate neighbor who serves as the moral center of The Apartment. His portrayal of the kindly doctor who saves Fran's life and advises Baxter to be a mensch provided the film with its emotional heart and ethical guidance. Kruschen's ability to convey both humor and humanity in his scenes made Dr. Dreyfus one of the most memorable supporting characters in the film, earning him his only Academy Award nomination and proving that even smaller roles could have enormous impact when performed with skill and sincerity. Born in Winnipeg, Canada, in 1922, Kruschen moved to the United States as a child and discovered his passion for performing while attending Hollywood High School. His talent was recognized early when CBS noticed his work in a school operetta, leading to his first radio job at age 16. During World War II, he served in the Army's Armed Forces radio service, where he continued to develop his broadcasting skills before returning to civilian life and building a career that would span radio, television, and film for more than 5 decades. Kruschen became a familiar face to television audiences through his numerous appearances on popular shows like Dragnet, Bonanza, and The Rifleman, often playing ethnic characters that drew on his natural warmth and humor. His film career included memorable roles in The War of the Worlds, Cape Fear, and The Unsinkable Molly Brown, while later in life he found new fame as Grandpa Papadopoulos on the sitcom Webster. Throughout his career, he was known for his professionalism and kindness, often playing benevolent father figures and wise neighbors who brought comfort and guidance to other characters. In his final years, Kruschen's health began to decline, though he continued working when possible and remained active in the entertainment community. He had been in poor health for some time when he traveled to Arizona for what was meant to be a relaxing vacation. On April 2, 2002, at age 80, Kruschen died peacefully in Chandler, Arizona, far from his Hollywood home but surrounded by the love of his family. His death wasn't widely reported until several weeks later, reflecting his humble nature and preference for staying out of the spotlight, but his contributions to film and television continue to be remembered by those who appreciated his talent for bringing warmth and wisdom to every role he played. David Lewis. David Lewis brought quiet authority to his role as Al Kirkeby, one of the 4 company managers who regularly borrows Baxter's apartment for their extramarital affairs. Though his screen time was limited, Lewis effectively portrayed the casual callousness of corporate executives who see nothing wrong with exploiting their subordinates for personal gain. His performance helped establish the toxic workplace culture that Billy Wilder was critiquing, showing how ordinary-looking businessmen could be completely indifferent to the damage their actions cause to others while maintaining their respectable public facades. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in 1916, Lewis developed his acting skills through years of steady work in theater. Before transitioning to film and television in the 1950s, he was part of the generation of character actors who built their careers through consistent, professional work rather than star power, appearing in supporting roles that required reliability and skill rather than headline recognition. His background in stage work gave him the foundation to create believable characters even in smaller parts, and he became known in Hollywood as a dependable performer who could be counted on to deliver solid work. Throughout his career, Lewis appeared in notable films including The Absent-Minded Professor, and maintained a regular presence on television, particularly in medical dramas like General Hospital, where he played various doctors and authority figures. His work often involved playing professionals and businessmen, roles that suited his natural demeanor and allowed him to build a steady career without the pressures that came with leading man status. He was also involved in theater productions, including touring companies of popular Broadway shows, which allowed him to continue practicing his craft on stage throughout his film and television career. Lewis spent his later years largely away from the entertainment industry, choosing to live quietly in the San Fernando Valley area of Los Angeles. Unlike many of his contemporaries who continued working well into their later years, he seemed to prefer a more private life as he aged, stepping back from the demands of regular acting work. On December 11, 2000, at age 84, Lewis died at his home in Woodland Hills, California, passing away peacefully and largely out of the public eye. His death received little media attention, reflecting his preference for privacy and his role as one of Hollywood's many reliable supporting players who contributed to countless productions without seeking the spotlight for themselves. Joan Shawley. Joan Shawley brought her distinctive blend of toughness and vulnerability to the role of Sylvia in The Apartment, playing one of the women caught up in the executive's web of casual affairs. Her performance showcased the kind of sharp, streetwise character that became her specialty, delivering her lines with the perfect mix of world-weary wisdom and underlying sadness that made even small roles memorable. This marked another successful collaboration with director Billy Wilder, who had previously cast her as the tough bandleader Sweet Sue in Some Like It Hot, proving that Shawley had become one of his trusted character actors who could be counted on to bring depth to supporting roles. Born Joan Fulton in Forest Hills, New York in 1926, Shawley moved to Vancouver, Canada, as a child, before eventually making her way back to the United States to pursue her entertainment career. She started as a model for the John Robert Powers Agency in New York at age 14 and worked as a Broadway showgirl before Hollywood discovered her talent for comedy. Her early film work often cast her in similar roles as chorus girls and entertainers, but she gradually proved her ability to handle more substantial character parts that made use of her natural wit and timing. Shawley became best known to television audiences for her recurring role as Fiona Pickles, Sorrel, the wife of Buddy Sorrell on The Dick Van Dyke Show, where her brassy personality and quick delivery made her a fan favorite. She also starred in her own short-lived British comedy series, The Adventures of Aggie, and appeared regularly on The Abbott and Costello Show. Her film work included memorable appearances in Billy Wilder, comedies, and later roles in Roger Corman's The Wild Angels, showing her ability to adapt to different genres while maintaining her distinctive screen presence. In the mid-1980s, Shawley was diagnosed with breast cancer and began a private battle with the disease, while continuing to work when her health permitted. The cancer proved aggressive and resistant to treatment, gradually weakening her despite her determination to keep performing. On March 22, 1987, at age 61, Shawley died in Hollywood, California, succumbing to the breast cancer that had cut short what should have been many more years of entertaining audiences. Her death represented the loss of a talented character actress who had brought wit and humanity to dozens of roles, leaving behind a legacy of memorable performances that showcased her ability to find the heart in even the toughest characters. Willard Waterman brought his rich, authoritative voice and polished acting skills to the role of Mr. Vanderhoff, another of the company managers who takes advantage of Baxter's apartment arrangement. His performance drew on decades of experience in radio broadcasting, where he had mastered the art of creating believable characters through voice alone, skills that translated perfectly to his film work. Waterman's portrayal of Vanderhoff helped establish the casual arrogance of the corporate executives who see Baxter as nothing more than a convenient tool for their personal pleasure, contributing to the film's sharp critique of workplace power dynamics. Born in Madison, Wisconsin, in 1914, Waterman discovered his love for performing while attending the University of Wisconsin, where he acted in student plays and worked at the campus radio station. His early career was built entirely in radio, where he became one of the medium's most recognizable voices during its golden age. He gained national fame when he took over the title role in The Great Gildersleeve radio series in 1950, replacing the original actor Harold Peary and successfully maintaining the show's popularity for 7 more years while making the character his own. Waterman's radio success led to opportunities in television and film, including memorable supporting roles in movies like Auntie Mame, where he played the stuffy Claude Upson. He also appeared regularly on television shows throughout the 1960s and 1970s, often cast as authority figures, businessmen, and other professional types that suited his dignified bearing and clear-speaking voice. His work on Broadway included roles in the original production of the musical Ma'am and its 1983 revival, showing his versatility across different entertainment mediums and his ability to adapt his radio-trained skills to live theater. In his later years, Waterman largely retired from acting and lived quietly in Burlingame, California, with his wife, Mary Anna. He developed bone marrow disease, a serious condition that affects the body's ability to produce healthy blood cells and gradually weakened his overall health. The disease proved difficult to treat and slowly took its toll on his strength and vitality. On February 2, 1995, at age 80, Waterman died peacefully at his Burlingame home, surrounded by his family and leaving behind a legacy as one of radio's most accomplished performers who successfully transitioned his talents to film and television during a remarkable career that spanned the golden ages of multiple entertainment mediums. David White. David White delivered a convincingly sleazy performance as Mr. Eichelberger, one of the married executives who regularly uses Baxter's apartment for his affairs while treating his young employee with casual contempt. His portrayal helped establish the moral rot at the heart of the corporate world that Billy Wilder was exposing, showing how men in positions of power could exploit those beneath them without a second thought. White's ability to make Eichelberger both believable and repulsive demonstrated his skill at playing unsympathetic characters, a talent that would serve him well throughout his career in both dramatic and comedic roles. Born in Denver, Colorado, in 1916, White moved with his family to Pennsylvania before eventually settling in Los Angeles, where he studied at Los Angeles City College and trained at the Pasadena Playhouse. After serving as a Marine during World War II, he returned to pursue his acting career seriously, making his Broadway debut in 1949 and gradually building a reputation as a reliable character actor who could handle both stage and screen work. His early film roles often cast him as smooth-talking villains and corrupt businessmen, parts that made good use of his natural charm and ability to suggest menace beneath a polished surface. White became most famous for his 8-year run as Larry Tate, the sycophantic advertising executive on the hit television series Bewitched, where his character served as Darren Stevens' demanding boss who was always trying to land new accounts. The role made him a household name and showed his talent for comedy, though he continued to take dramatic parts in films like Sweet Smell of Success and Sunrise at Campobello. His film work often featured him as corrupt politicians, sleazy journalists, or unscrupulous businessmen, roles that seemed to come naturally to him and made him a go-to actor for directors who needed someone to play authority figures with questionable morals. White's personal life was marked by profound tragedy, beginning with the death of his first wife, Mary Welch, in 1958, from complications during pregnancy. 30 years later, in December 1988, his 33-year-old son Jonathan was killed in the terrorist bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, a devastating loss that left White heartbroken and withdrawn from public life. The grief from losing his only son took a terrible toll on his health and spirit, and he never fully recovered from the tragedy. On November 27, 1990, just 2 years after his son's death, White suffered a massive heart attack and died at age 74, bringing an end to a successful career that had been overshadowed by unimaginable personal loss. Johnny Seven. Johnny Seven played Carl Matuszka, the caring brother-in-law of Shirley MacLaine's character Fran, bringing warmth and genuine concern to a film filled with selfish and manipulative men. His performance as the cab driver who worries about Fran's well-being provided a stark contrast to the corporate executives who see her only as an object for their pleasure, showing that not all the men in Fran's life were interested in exploiting her. Seven's portrayal helped ground the film's more cynical elements by demonstrating that decent working-class people still existed in this morally complicated world that Billy Wilder was exploring. Born John Anthony Fetto in the Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn, New York, in 1926, Seven was the only boy among 6 children in an Italian immigrant family, and he discovered his love for performing during his military service in the Philippines during World War II. He earned his nickname Johnny Seven while serving in the Army, and kept it as his stage name throughout his career, which began in New York theater before he moved to Hollywood in the late 1950s. His background gave him the authenticity to play working-class characters and ethnic roles that became his specialty throughout his long career in film and television. Seven became one of television's most prolific character actors, appearing in over 600 television shows during his 4-decade career, including regular roles on series like Ironside, where he played Lieutenant Carl Reese for several seasons. His film work included supporting roles in The Last Mile with Mickey Rooney, Guns of the Timberland with Alan Ladd, and Blake Edwards' What Did You Do in the War, Daddy? He was equally comfortable in westerns, crime dramas, and comedies, often playing tough guys, police officers, or blue-collar workers who brought believability and heart to whatever production he joined. In his later years, Seven continued working steadily in television while also running a successful real estate business in the San Fernando Valley, showing the practical side that helped many character actors survive the uncertainties of Hollywood careers. He was diagnosed with lung cancer and fought the disease for some time while continuing to work when his health permitted. On January 22, 2010, at age 83, Seven died from complications related to lung cancer at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Mission Hills, California, surrounded by his wife of 60 years, Edith, and his family. His death marked the end of a remarkable career that exemplified the dedication and professionalism of character actors who formed the backbone of American television and film for decades. Edie Adams. Edie Adams brought sophistication and sharp intelligence to her role as Miss Olson, the secretary who reveals to Fran the ugly truth about her boss's history of using and discarding women. Her performance provided one of the film's most crucial dramatic moments, as Miss Olson's bitter revelation forces Fran to confront the reality of her situation with Sheldrake. Adams delivered her lines with the perfect combination of world-weary cynicism and genuine concern for another woman, showing how someone who had been through the same experience could recognize the warning signs and try to help, even though she knew her words would be painful to hear. Born Edith Elizabeth Anka in Kingston, Pennsylvania, in 1927, Adams was a classically trained performer who graduated from the prestigious Juilliard School of Music with dreams of becoming an opera singer. Her career took a different direction when she appeared on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts and caught the attention of innovative comedian Ernie Kovacs, who was looking for a singing partner for his groundbreaking television show. The two fell in love and married in 1954, creating both a personal and professional partnership that would make them one of television's most beloved couples during the medium's early golden age. Adams achieved remarkable success across multiple entertainment fields, winning a Tony Award for her starring role as Daisy May in the Broadway musical Lil Abner, and becoming famous nationwide for her sultry Muriel Cigars commercials where she purred, "Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?" Her film work included notable performances in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and Lover Come Back, while she continued to showcase her singing talents in nightclubs and on television variety shows throughout the 1960s and beyond. When Kovacs died suddenly in a car accident in 1962, Adams discovered that her husband owed hundreds of thousands of dollars in back taxes to the IRS, leaving her to work tirelessly for years to pay off the massive debt, while also fighting for custody of his 2 daughters from a previous marriage. She refused offers of help from celebrity friends and took on any work she could find, determined to handle the financial crisis on her own. In her later years, Adams battled both cancer and pneumonia, conditions that gradually weakened her health despite her determination to keep working. On October 15, 2008, At age 81, Adams died in Los Angeles from complications related to both diseases, ending the life of a remarkable performer who had overcome tremendous personal and financial challenges while maintaining her dignity and continuing to entertain audiences for more than 5 decades. Joyce Jameson. Joyce Jameson played the blonde. The woman Baxter picks up at a bar during one of his lowest moments in the film, bringing both humor and pathos to what could have been a throwaway role. Her performance captured the loneliness and desperation that connected her character to Baxter, showing how two people seeking comfort could find each other even in the most casual circumstances. Jameson's ability to suggest depth and vulnerability beneath the surface of what appeared to be a simple pickup scene demonstrated her skill as an actress and added another layer to Billy Wilder's complex portrait of urban isolation and human connection. Born Joyce Beverly Kingsley in Chicago in 1927, Jameson studied theater arts at UCLA and began her career with dreams of serious dramatic roles. But Hollywood quickly typecast her as the stereotypical dumb blonde based on her appearance and natural comedic timing. Despite her intelligence and classical training, she found herself repeatedly cast as chorus girls, floozies, and dizzy blondes throughout the 1950s and 1960s, roles that frustrated her but provided steady work in an industry known for its fickleness. She once commented bitterly that after directors interviewed her, she could hear them say, "Hey, she's intelligent, but what do you do with it?" Jameson became best known to television audiences for her recurring role as Skippy, one of the fun girls on The Andy Griffith Show, and appeared in memorable films like the horror comedies Tales of Terror and The Comedy of Terrors opposite Vincent Price and Peter Lorre. She also had significant roles in Frankie and Johnny with Elvis Presley, and later appeared in Clint Eastwood films The Outlaw Josie Wales and Every Which Way But Loose, showing her versatility across different genres even while remaining trapped in similar character types throughout her career. Despite her professional success, Jameson struggled with depression and chronic insomnia, conditions that were made worse by the frustration of being unable to escape the typecasting that limited her career opportunities. She had a long-term relationship with The Man from UNCLE star Robert Vaughn, who later revealed in his autobiography that she suffered from severe bouts of depression that affected her personal happiness. On January 16, 1987, at age 59, Jameson died by suicide at her home in Burbank, California, taking an overdose of sleeping pills that ended her struggles with the mental health challenges that had plagued her for years. Her death was a tragic reminder of how the entertainment industry's tendency to typecast performers could trap talented actors in roles that never allowed them to show their full range, leaving behind unfulfilled potential and the sadness of a bright mind that never found the recognition it deserved.